women, children, elderly, Holocaust survivors.
It's beyond my comprehension to be able to imagine what they're thinking. Beyond my comprehension.
And the last thing I heard was my youngest, who's 12, saying, "Don't take me, I'm too young." And that was it. The line went off and they were gone.
You know, a whole world breaks down. You don't understand, you don't get it. She was on the festival. What happened? Why do people behave like this?
None of us want to live in a world where elders and babies and children and civilians get kidnapped.
Welcome to the show. Nearly 2 weeks after Hamas' brutal incursion into Israel, the extent of the havoc they wreaked is anything but clear. Today, Israeli authorities adjusted the number of hostages taken to over 200, advising families that it's likely to grow even further. The military has vowed to do everything possible to bring the hostages home. And with more than 40 nationalities represented among the abducted, that mission is receiving a lot of international support. The head of the United Nations, too, has called for the immediate and unconditional release of the hostages.
On a wall outside the Israeli Defense Ministry in Tel Aviv, and on walls across Israel, the images of those taken and missing.
The Israeli government must focus, first of all, on doing whatever is necessary in order to release the hijacked people.
In the October 7th attack, Hamas terrorists killed indiscriminately, and they kidnapped civilians, soldiers, the elderly, disabled, and children. So many children. Now the hostages are somewhere in the Gaza Strip, or under it, in the untold hundreds of kilometers of tunnels Hamas has built.
Now there'll be lots of effort put into coordinating, identifying and locating where the hostages are being kept as much as possible. And of course, in the background, there's talk of potentially hostage rescue attempts, but these are very, very dangerous options with not always a guaranteed chance of success.
What Hamas recognizes, Scott Walker says, is that Israel has consistently prioritized the safe return of their citizens. Case in point, the 19-year-old Israeli soldier held by Hamas for 5 years. Israel got him back by giving up more than 1,000 Palestinian prisoners to Hamas.
They always want to take captives. They know what captives can do. One Israeli soldier, Gilad Shalit, and that's the price that Israel is willing to pay.
The hostages ruthlessly taken on October 7th, and likely guarded now by some of the Hamas kidnappers, face a lengthy captivity, and indeed the threat of death from the captors. The families of those hostages are shaken and afraid, desperate for any word, and hopeful that the images of their sisters, brothers, parents, grandparents remain in the forefront of Israel's moves against Hamas.
I'm now joined by two relatives of 4 of the German hostages taken by Hamas. That's Roni Romann, whose sister was kidnapped, and Adi Zalesky, whose aunt and uncle have been taken. Thank you so much for joining us on DW today. Let's start with you, Roni. When did you last hear from your sister and her sister-in-law, who's also been taken by Hamas? Where were they?
Actually, I was in South Africa with my father when we saw the last message from my sister that says that they are all right, with a picture of her and her 3 years old kid, Geffen. And at that point, actually, it's kind of weird to say it, but we thought it's usual. They have a routine of alarms getting into the shelter. So we wasn't very afraid. But as the time passed on, we realized that this is a very different situation, and this is unusual, extremely unusual. And since 10 a.m. at Saturday morning, we haven't heard from her.
What about you, Adi? What was the last you knew of your uncle and your aunt?
So like Roni said, on Saturday morning we all woke up from missile alarms. Again, not something too unusual. But then I heard on the TV that terrorists have broken into Israel and are murdering members of the kibbutzim near the Gaza Strip. And then I hear that my cousin is crying on TV, saying that her dad was pictured in Gaza. That's how I found out.
You found out on TV?
Yes.
And they were in Be'eri kibbutz, one of the sites of the worst
kibbutz
massacre.
Be'eri took a hard hit in this terror attack. 114 deaths for now, and that number just keeps rising. And a lot of hostages also from the kibbutz. And it's very concerning. My mom is from the kibbutz Be'eri. She grew up there. It's such a nice place. I used to go there all the time, and just seeing those pictures from the kibbutz, it just feels like a nightmare. Yeah. It feels like a horror movie.
Now, you unfortunately share this fate with many other families in Israel right now. Does it give you any sort of solace that you can share this agony, that you're in this together?
Well, I will say there is a lot of solidarity right now between the people of Israel. A lot of people are volunteering to help. A lot of people were called up to the army. When before the 7th of October, we were divided in Israel for political issues, but right now I think it's safe to say that we are all in this together. It doesn't matter right now about politics. We just want to get this over with, to bring our hostages back home and to live peacefully.
Yeah. And it's a top priority of the government to bring the hostages home. Have they been in touch with you and your families? Are they keeping you in the loop? Are they keeping you informed? Do they know anything about where your family members are?
I think that our government has... everyone was really in shock. Nobody expected this attack. So it took some time for the government to understand. And I think that even right now, they don't really understand. We don't know the final numbers of the people who got murdered, of the people who got kidnapped. So until now, there is a lot of unknowing. The government is trying to reach us and keep us updated, but they don't know. My sister still in a status of missing, although I'm sure that she's kidnapped. I know it. We were at the point that she was last seen, and my brother for 5 days was in the war field and looking for her. No signs of blood and no signs of fight, so for sure they just re-kidnapped her after she ran away, and we're waiting for information and we're waiting for a sign of life. And that this is also the reason that we are here in Germany, because we really do need every help to know what is their condition.
Yeah. Your sister is a German citizen?
Yeah.
And your uncle is a German citizen? Your aunt is a German citizen? What kind of support have you been receiving from the German government since you arrived here?
We arrived here after almost a week that we were in this insane, as you said, movie in Israel, and we just decided that we need Germany by our side, and actually not by our side, with our side, because we are German citizens, and Germany should be a real active here and a real actor, not only a third party. This is a matter also of Germany. So we came here, and I have to say, really, we already met the Chancellor and Mr. Baerbock and a lot of people in the parliament, and we really feel a lot of support and commitment to us to help our loved ones. And I really do hope that they will do more than everything that they can. First of all, to bring us a sign of life, and then right after then, get them released.
Yeah. Now there is talk about an imminent ground offensive, of course, also with the aim of freeing the hostages. How do you feel about that? Because it comes with a lot of danger, of course.
Well, I don't know what to say, but because I'm not familiar with what the actions should be. All I know is I want Israel and Germany as well do anything they can to bring out the hostages. We don't know what it takes, but I'm sure that he will do anything it takes.
Do you feel heard at this point?
Well, in Germany, I've been here for 2 days, and all we've received is love and support, and all the politicians we met, and also the public love that we're receiving. It really is comforting to be here, although there are still anti-Semitic actions here in Berlin. But that's everywhere in the world right now. Because we are not safe everywhere, not in Israel and not outside of Israel.
That is a very unfortunate reality. If you had a message for your sister right now, what would it be?
The only thing that I think that the only thought that my sister has in her mind right now, that she doesn't know that Geffen is alive.
Her daughter.
Her daughter, yeah. She doesn't know that she, with her father, succeeded to hide and got back to the army force. So this is the only thing that I would tell her, because I know that she knows that I love her. I know that she knows that every one of us or her family is doing everything that we can to get her back. So I don't need to tell that.
Yeah. What about you?
I just hope they're both safe. I hope they're together. I'm really concerned about my aunt as well, because Raz has an autoimmune disease, and she takes a lot of pills, medically a lot of pills every day. And it's been 2 weeks now that she hasn't received any medical attention. I assume, we don't know. And that's why we need the help of humanitarian aid for the hostages as soon as possible, because we don't know how much time she has left without those medicals.
Yeah. Their time is running out. This is not an event that happened in the 7th of October. This is still, we're still under attack. My sister, Raz, also, and at least 200 more kidnapped people, they are still under attack. And I also would like to say that this is not an issue about Israel and Palestine. Really, it's not. This is about terror and the liberal world. They weren't started a war against our army because of a matter of ideologic issues. This is innocent people, women, children, old people, ill people that are now in a war zone. Just, they need help, and they haven't done anything bad. And their time is running out.
Roni, Adi, thank you so much for sharing your story. All the best to you and your families.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We can now speak to Ori Slonim. He's an experienced hostage negotiator who's working with the families of the abducted in Israel. Mr. Slonim, good to have you on the day. You have dealt with hostage situations for decades, but this is unlike anything Israel has ever seen before, isn't it?
It is an unprecedented presidential event, not only in Israel, in the history of Israel, but I believe in worldwide. I can never remember or heard of such an event with this scale, with this situation of having such an event within a war, and having in captivity old ladies, old men above the age of 80, babies. One of them, I believe, is a couple of days baby, and citizens who were in a festival, in a music festival, and soldiers, which is more, it's regular within a war. But all the rest is something unprecedented. It's a real kidnapping,
Now that you mentioned, the elderly, the babies, the toddlers, the festival goers, why did Hamas take them? What is their plan with them?
I don't know. I don't know. I can think of the desire to hit Israel. They are telling that they would like to smash the state of Israel out of this ground, and they are a bunch of people, I believe, who are much worse than ISIS.
We've seen efforts by Qatar, who are, of course, very close to Hamas, to have at least women and children released. Is that a reason for hope?
First of all, I'm always hoping. Otherwise, I couldn't stay in this job so many years. But it's awful for our understanding that they took such a big number of hostages. They took girls and raped them. They took people, and some of them they are preventing medicines from old people. They are preventing food from babies from a couple of days until they have 30 babies there.
Yeah.
And they killed many people. We don't know the exact number, but they killed in cold blood, like I can tell you, like the Nazis.
Yeah, and time is of the essence here. You have been involved in many hostage negotiations. In your experience, what's the toughest part in negotiating with Palestinian militants?
First of all, I think that the most awful situation in any kidnapping, any hostages taking, is their family that are living with the uncertainty. They don't know their fate. They don't know about them, especially the old people and the babies. But I can tell you that uncertainty is the worst situation of any human being.
How do you manage their fears and expectations? Because they pin lots of hopes on the people trying to free their loved ones. So how go about that? Not let them down, offer them support, but also not create false hopes.
Are you talking about the families here?
Yes.
It's our main task, and we are very experienced how to take care and how to treat and how to try to ease their life. But there is one thing that you cannot deal is the uncertainty how it will end. So you are living the whole day and night with with this uncertainty, and I use this word a lot because if you know that. Even the French poet said once that the uncertainty is much more worth than the ugliest certainty. If you have certainty, if somebody gives you some news about your health, and he said, look, you're in a very bad situation, it's quite final, you try to find better doctors, better pills, you have some hope. But if you live in uncertainty for years, sometimes, then you don't sleep, you don't even breathe. It's something which is, I believe, the most unhuman feeling in our lives.
Adi Zalesky, thank you so much for those insights and your time.